Hey, what's up? This is Corey with Reedy River Goods. We are back in the shop tonight, and I have a leather koozie we're gonna work on. So, the project I used this for was a koozie, but the main topic is gonna be this stitching right here. We're gonna do this baseball stitch. I'm a former baseball player myself, and I think this thing is pretty sweet looking. So I want to add it. I just did it's a different koozie I did here with the cross stitch. I do have a video on that. I really have never done the baseball stitch, and I really have liked it. So I said I was going to learn it, and so I'm going to teach it to you tonight. For this project, it is I just got this pattern. I had some points, and so I got a free pattern, and it's a relatively simple pattern. It's just a little one piece. It is, whenever you're doing let's say you're stitching or hand stitching and you're doing circles like this, be very, very careful because they don't line up the same way. So there might be a little bit, it may not be even noticeable if you just looked at the pattern. But the stitching distances can change from when you're looking at the side here as opposed to around the edges. So anytime anything is circular like this, just kind of keep that in mind. And so this pattern made sure specifically that they were punched exactly where they lined up. And I think they're just a little bit closer on the interior here. So keep that in mind because it won't line up just right with this baseball stitch. It's not a terribly difficult stitch to do. Um, I really like the look of it. I did this green, and I think it's really, really cool. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it in white, just so it'll stand out a little bit. But as far as the leather I chose, I kind of like a little bit heavier, so I went with a 5.5 ounce. It's like a 5.5, 6 ounce chrome tan, and just a real nice, pretty hefty piece. I've already finished up all the edges, and I didn't think it'd be worth you watching me punch holes or anything like that. So I already have this ready to go. I did my edges already, dyed them, and put some Tokonol on the edges there. But we are going to learn a new stitch tonight, and this one again happens to be, you have to start at the interior here because this is where you will deform your koozie. I had a little bit of troubles around these edges and all, but again, the stitch is the main point. So if you want to learn a new hand stitch, stay with me here. All right, so before we get started, I do have, here's my pattern. And like most, you're not going to use much more thread than you normally would if you're hand stitching. I do have the 1.0 Ritza Tiger thread here. I've been really pleased with it since I've been using it. And all you're going to do, you obviously need two needles there. I'm going to go 5. This is just my kind of monkey math measuring, but basically 5 lengths of my project. You probably get away with 4, 4.5, but I kind of just pull out 5 lengths there of my thread. And then, if you don't know how to thread a needle, I do have another video for it, but I'll show you quickly. You're going to need 2 needles and 1 piece of thread, needle on either side. And you find the eyelet. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Put that thread through it. This one is a little bit thicker. I got some small eyelets on there. Alright, pull it through. It's not good to have a white background if you do that. Pull it through here. I pull it a little bit forward. Now you get the sharp part of the needle. Push the tip of the needle through the thread. Hopefully in the middle. Kind of make that there. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to tug that down. Pull that thread down until you kind of feel it pop there. And then you pull the bottom part. Pull it all the way up. And lock that sucker in. Good night. Did I show any of that on camera? Anyway, I do have a video showing that if you're not, but that's a quick reminder if you don't know how. You're going to cut it to your length, and then you add the other one the same exact way. Let's get into it. All right, so here is my piece. This is just going to be an easier way to show how to do this stitch, this baseball stitch. This is just some scraps that I have, but this is again used for buttoning up 2 pieces of leather here. This is a little bit more intricate as you get going, but it's the same process. So we'll get back to the koozie in a minute, but I just want to show you how to start and stop when you are doing this. So to lock these first 2 stitches in, there's going to be these first top 2 holes. You're going to essentially take your needle and thread. You're going to start from behind your project on the inside. You'll push both of those through their respective sides. All right, and I'm going to pull them out evenly. And all I'm going to do from there, again, this is just to lock that stitch in. All right, so from here, all you're going to do is cross this one over. So you basically take your one that came out of this side, you're going to cross it right across the front and push it back through this first hole. Alright, you'll create just one line there. You're going to do the same exact thing, just the opposite way with the other one. So from the right, go over to the left, push back through, and that is how we start our stitch. So that's one, and we're going to do this one more time. But what we'll do here is on the inside here, what we'll do is we're going to cross over and come out the second hole. Same thing, we're going to cross over, come out the second hole. There we go. Push that through. So we are going to have an X in the back or the interior of your project. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. So from right, we're going to come over, and left, we're going to come over. All right. Then get one here. All right. So you lock that first stitch in. So now we can start our baseball stitch. So you should have you basically have two threads, and you have an X in the back here. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing, but for the baseball thread, it is a little different. And the reason being, you're going to always want to start from the inside. Okay. And what we'll do here, and why this gets a little bit tricky, is I am going to separate it a little bit for the reason. Let me see if I can just do this by hand in front of my camera here. This might be wishful thinking, but what you're going to do is take, so you see how they're hanging here. I'm just going to I'm going to hold this one. This will be one on my right. So this will be this thread on this side. And what I'm going to do is come underneath the project from the right. I'm going to come out and then go in. Come out the middle of the leather and come down. We're always going to be coming from underneath and then pushing over the top. Okay, so this is my other free one. This was the one free hanging from this side. I'm going to come underneath the project and then push through in that second hole. Come from there, and as we get going, those are going to cross over just like that. Now I always want to keep pretty consistent here. Let's see if I can get it back in there. If I started here first, I'm going to want to do that the same way each time. So I'll do that same thing. We're going to have it in the back here. It's just going to be hanging freely, so they're going to be hanging straight down. Okay, we're going to cross over. So I'm going to take the one that's hanging on my right side here. I'm going to go from underneath the project in the middle, come down to that next hole, and push inside that hole. You start to see it create that. Now take this one on this side free hanging through the middle here and push back through that hole there. And now as you go, you're going to keep a pretty consistent thread. What I like to do is grab both of them and kind of pull straight down. And you'll see that starts to tighten them up a little bit better. So again, here we are. It should look the same on the inside and the back. So each time you're done, you should have one hanging each side. I'm going to take this one first, in the middle, come underneath, push through. Same thing with the other thread, hanging over. I'm going to come in the middle, and push straight down in there. And you can see, I'm going to do the same thing where I pull both threads straight down with a pretty nice tension. You obviously don't want to bear down too much on it, but you see how consistent that is. And that does, over a bunch of stitches, it does give you a nice, so that is essentially what we'll be doing. And you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to start for the koozie. You can see you start with the double stitch there, and then you just start the same way. From when you do get here, once you get to the end, we'll just say this is the end of the project. Again, you're going to have laying left and right in there. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to cross over again and go to the next hole. So I'm freely hanging here. We're going to cross over and go down one hole. Alright, so you get that cross again and you go down to the next hole. It should be a free open space there. Now it'll make more sense. So you have the X in the back. This will be your project side. So now we're going to end this stitch. And so again, we're going to do the same thing, just kind of in reverse. We're taking this one here. We're going to cross over. Push right into that same hole on the opposite side. And you'll have a thread coming out of there. Just make sure not to puncture that. Try to stay to the side. And then push in there. Alright. Lift this up a little bit. So now let's turn around the back here. We're going to do the same thing. Cross over, and go down to the next hole. Now this is the interior, and here's your exterior of the project. And all you're going to do again there, you got them freely hanging. I'm going to cross over, place it inside the same hole just next to it. Alright, cross over, same hole, just next to it. Pull down with a fair enough amount of tension that you've been trying to pull each time, and then from there you can just tie it off. I usually do two clip and then burn it, but for this sake I'm just gonna clip, and there you have it. There is your baseball stitch. Again, for this it's a little bit tricky, but hopefully that all you're doing is repeating, where's my camera, all you're doing is repeating this step, and you're just starting at a different place and you're working your way around, where's my camera, you're just working your way around this edge. But you see it does leave a pretty cool fix in there. What I'll do now is I'll show you in the project how it looks, and kind of give you some of the subtle differences there, and maybe do a little troubleshooting too if we come across any little mistakes that we may make along the way. Alright, so this should be a little bit better angle here. So as you can see, here's my next hole on either side. So I keep everything separated. All I do is take this one from the other side. I'm going to come out, and you're always going to push from outside of your project to inside of your project. Okay, and now to keep it straight, if I were to cross here, I'm going to create a little bit of problem. So what I'm going to do is actually go underneath that thread and then pull from here and place in there. And start to see it tugging together now, and that's exactly what you want to see there, crisscrossing just like that. So start on this side. Oh, let me start actually this way. This side coming to the outside. And underneath. That one's getting away. Underneath. To the outside and down. There we go. It's a little bit more intimidating, and again, it's not the strongest stitch in the world, but it looks pretty cool. The finished product looks pretty cool. So this is probably one of the best. Obviously, if you're doing I have seen some pretty cool leather baseballs that folks do. That could obviously be a good use for it. And fun fact, I'm pretty sure I think this is true. Someone correct me on it if not, but I believe baseballs are actually done with 2 stitches. It's actually double thread that does the stitching for a baseball. And obviously if you're hitting it 110, 112 off the bat, a couple 100 feet, probably needs a little bit more strength. They obviously glue them down and everything, but hopefully that's a better angle and can kind of make sense out of it. I think seeing it this way for me helps just to kind of see it, where the thread's coming from and where it's ending up, and how to create any problem or fix any problems that you may see being created. I don't know if I have to go under that, but I just feel like it's going to pull that kind of weird, so I keep doing it. Let's see, I'm going to do one without and see if it changes it. See if that looks any different. No. Yeah, it does look a little different. You see how that one's over the top and that one's underneath. So it did change it a little bit. So that goes back to consistency. If I do it one time, I should do it each time. That would probably look fine by itself, but the fact that I changed it and none of those lined up like that make me want to make sure I don't. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So all you got to do to fix it, easy enough. You just look where your thread's coming from. Push it back through that hole. Make sure you don't stab the thread, but pull that out. And then what I'll do is I'll just go underneath here, just so it doesn't create an inconsistent. There we go. Lay it back on top. So it would have been fine, but as long as I'm doing the same thing each time, that's all that really matters. So yes, I think that looks more consistent and a better look. So I'll keep doing that each time. All right, so there you have it. All I did was tie that back up. Came out looking pretty good. Hope you got something out of it. I hope it makes sense. It was a little bit difficult to explain, I'll be honest, but this is the baseball stitch for a leather koozie. I do like this green better. I just think it stands out a little bit better and is just a little prettier. I don't know. I like a little bit of colorful accent. Anyway, leather koozie there. I'll have a video coming up soon on how to make your own pattern for this. This is a different type, but cool stitch on there too. And we'll have a pattern on there to show where you can be able to make that by yourself. I do appreciate you stopping by my channel. If you could, like, subscribe, share it with a friend if they got any interest in the realm of leathercraft. And I appreciate checking out my video, and there'll be more to come. If you got any questions or anything, hit me in the comments and I'll try to get back with you. Otherwise, till next time, we'll see you then.